Fingers in Pies podcast, brought to you by Melon Freight UK.
Welcome to episode 10 of the Fingers in Pies podcast. You are here with Tommy Watson from Mr. Melon Freight UK and Harvey Riby.
Hello, how are we doing?
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Well, so this is the Fingers in Pies podcast with Melon Freight UK, the best podcast on every sort of device or
every
streaming
possible
device.
place.
Yeah, where you get your podcasts from. How are you, Harvey?
Absolutely spectacular. Lovely day out.
I should probably explain who Harvey is to people who don't know. Or do you want to explain who you are?
There's not much to explain.
What are you?
Drive around in circles.
Yeah, I circulate weekly.
A racing driver in the Mini Cooper Mini Challenge?
Yeah, Virtue Mini Challenge.
Oh, I should know this. The Virtue Mini Challenge. But it's Mini Coopers, isn't it?
Yes.
Not the JCW.
The trophy.
Trophy.
Let's start that again because I work for Virtue. So they're not listening. The Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. There we go. You hurtle round in a Mini Cooper. Similar to this man over here, Tommy, who's back in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
You are.
finally.
We're going to get into that. First things first, you're on the Fingers in Pies podcast. You got some pies in front of you. And you got a crumble. We'll come on to the fact that why there's a crumble. Are you a pie man?
Not really. I know we're on Fingers in Pies,
Okay,
but
that concludes this episode of the Fingers in Pies podcast. Why are you not a pie man? Everyone loves a pie.
I'm just...
What's your favourite pie?
Like a steak and ale, like lots of gravy and...
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm not massively into pies.
Not a sweet one even, like an apple pie.
I'm going to tell you something here.
What?
I've never really had an apple pie.
Oh, hang
What
on.
is going
Hang
on?
on. Have we got an apple pie here?
We have got an apple pie. So, no time.
I think no time
No
like the
time
present.
like the present, my friend. Do you like apple?
I like apple, yeah. Oh, I'm going to make a right mess of it.
No. I'm intrigued to see what you think of an apple pie.
Sorry for everyone listening
Yeah,
to
sorry
this.
for everyone listening because
Sorry.
we're just literally going to watch Harvey eat an apple pie for the first. Oh, you're 18 years old, are you?
18.
And you've never eaten an apple pie?
No, not that I know of.
Shame on you. Really? Go on.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'd
go on.
love for you to start.
Just
We're
take
just
a
gonna-
bite.
Take a bite. There we go. And then tell us when you get a chance what you think.
It's when it's so dry and
here
it's
we
like,
go.
I
Here
know
we
I
go.
need to talk.
What do you think?
It's all right.
It's all right. I mean, these were, top of the range. I think they cost me about 90p.
You don't have to eat the whole thing, by the way. You
Yeah,
can.
you don't have to eat the whole thing.
I'll
Savour it.
dibble
You're
and
not
dabble
gonna
throughout the podcast.
Jeez,
Every so
I'm gonna
often
have
you
it.
might see me just have a little
I
nibble.
made him say. Now, the reason I got a crumble, guys, is because if you've listened to the Fingers and Pies podcast, is that every person, when we say what's their favourite pie, they say, I'll probably go for an apple crumble. That's not a pie.
Not a
Is
pie.
it? That's a pie
This
that
is
you're
a
eating
pie.
there. So I bought, what is this one? A cherry, looking down, a cherry crumble cake.
Well, that sums it up, doesn't it?
Cherry
They had to finish it off with calling it a cake.
It is not a pie at all. Do you want a bit of crumble?
Why not? Going straight in
We'll
with the
get in. I'm
ASMR.
going straight in with eating, first of all. So there you go, look, there's a bit of crumble. Reach over.
Oh yeah, it's got a cake base.
See,
It's got a crumble cup.
Oh, dear.
it's got a... Finish that.
Crumble top. Cake
Why
base.
did you say cock? I'll swan again. Right, okay, here we go. It's got a cake base, but a crumble top.
It's just not a pie.
However,
I like it.
that is really good.
Uh-huh.
The texture's in that. Do you want a bit?
It's
Sorry,
right
everyone.
leftovers. Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
right, you're growing
see,
that.
get the leftovers, look.
You are a growing lad. Talking of being a growing lad, how tall are you, Harvey?
All right, we'll start with this then.
people can't tell. You're sat down. If people are watching,
I am 6'5".
in your dreams.
What does that make me?
No.
All right. I'm 5'5", but if I've got big shoes on, 5'6". Obviously socks, that adds a little bit as well.
What about when you're in your heels?
See, that's a different thought. I can get away with being 6 foot if I'm in my heels.
5'5".
5'5".
But that's good for a racing driver, right?
Yes, yeah, very good.
Tommy, how tall are you?
6'5".
You wonder how he gets in a Mini.
Yeah, well, you've sat in my Mini before, I think, haven't you?
I've attempted to, yeah.
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 Do you struggle?
Yeah, yes. I struggle to get in my Mini.
So we should probably sort of update people on what we're talking about. You two are in the same championship, essentially. Yeah?
We are.
so-
might not look it on track.
And you just hurtled round Donington,
Yep.
GP circuit. How did that go for you, Mr. Ryby?
It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a very successful weekend with like race pace, things like that. So fast, more or less fastest laps throughout.
You were right up there in the last race.
Yeah,
Weren't you
yeah.
sixth, weren't you?
P6, I think it was.
That was
Out
a
of
great
about-
race as well.
Yeah, out of about 30, is it?
I don't know.
25.
25.
I should know that.
I should know that too. But that's not bad.
Yeah, so I was quite happy with that. Second fastest lap. We was quickest till like the last lap. We lost it by a very small margin.
There's 3 races, is there, in the weekend?
Three races.
What happened in race 2? Did you come off the track?
Yes, but
Have we done that video yet? Yeah,
Not-
we have.
not to do names because we can't do names.
You can do names. Come on.
Call everyone out.
Who
we
forced you off?
can't do
Who
names.
forced you off?
Right.
Tell me now.
It's like being in the
Judicial.
judicial's bus. Yeah, right. So,
Go on.
can I say names?
Yes, 100%.
Sam Gornell. Right, so, do you want me to explain the situation?
Please do.
Right, so, what was happening is...
I'm going to continue with some.
Yeah. Go ahead, yeah.
Go on.
So, we was 3 wide going down one of the back straights. I was on the outside, but I just got a nice run out the last corner. So, yeah, it was going down, absolutely incredible, straight past both of them. I'd got past the guy in the middle. I can't actually remember who it is, but that's irrelevant.
All right.
I'd gone to go into the corner,
Yeah.
just about to hit the apex. Sam Gornell, non-stop, plough straight into the back of me.
Hey.
Yeah, out of order.
Yeah. Forced you off into the gravel.
Sorry if you're watching, but it's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, forced me into the gravel, DNF for me, and I was the fastest kid on track at that point.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
That whoa sounded really, like really patronising, but I did mean it. Whoa.
That was
The
a
thing-
tasty race, though. That wasn't it?
Yeah,
that
it was a very good race.
In fact, all the way through the third race as well. Like,
Yeah.
they were all pretty,
It was all
tasty.
kicking off.
Because our race 3 is on ITV,
Yes.
same as what the BTCC is.
Yeah.
I should know. With
Yeah.
the BTCC.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, that was for the TV. That was probably the best race the championships had through the year. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was. So you got forced off. I mean, when something like that happens with Mr. Sam Gornell, he's become. We're going to name this episode Sam Gornell. Do you have a word after? Do you get into? This isn't going to be an easy podcast. I hope you know this.
yeah, that's
Well,
fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Do you have a word?
chat? Did you go and get him?
You can't. It's hard within motorsport to like have words.
Or do the mini challenge? Does
Yeah,
Ria literally
so-
put rules against it? I love you,
Yeah,
Ria.
so
by the way.
like the mini challenge because it's all race and respect. So it all gets sorted in the judicial bus.
Did you go to
so-
judicials for that?
Yes.
Okay.
With Sam next to you.
Yeah, Sam was next to me.
Is that not awkward?
We had.
Is it like kids being
is
in
a
the
little-
headmaster's office?
Yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, we've got like team managers sat there. So I say my story, he says his story. We watch the videos first.
Right.
But like when we watch the videos, it's just complete silence. You're just watching the videos, and they'll pause the video, and you'll all just sit there, and it's like dead silence. And then they'll be like, right, what's your side of the story? And he just like starts stuttering, and he's like,
he's admitting blame, admitting defeat.
But yeah, it's a tricky situation to be in, because obviously it's like being in court.
Yeah.
Not like I've been in court.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. We'll get to that later.
Shut that one down fast.
But yeah, it's like being in court. It's just like it's questioning you.
So it was resolved.
It was resolved.
Who was to blame?
It was because I was on the outside and he was on the inside. He had an overlap, but if I wasn't there, he wasn't going to make the corner. So, but because he was there and he used me as a brake.
So it was just declared as a racing incident?
It was a racing incident as such.
So,
but he was technically out of control.
Are you two all right? You've kissed and made up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, less of the making up, more of the kissing.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, well, we'll talk.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
It's part of racing.
This happens. The mini champion. I don't know why. Watching the highlights of minis that you wanted to do it, Tommy. Because there was. It can be known as a bit of a. They crash a lot. I think it's fair to say.
As we saw.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, what was it about the mini challenge that?
I don't know. It was just obviously the link and everything that I had throughout Accelerate and with Mayor on and different things. So, I sort of had chats with Laura and Justina and different people within Ting. And so if I'm going to do it, why not? Yeah. Why not do it? So it's been good fun going through all testing. And then obviously what happened. But I got my licence back and Donny was the first round. Again, my race 2 ended very fast. At the bottom of Craners in the back of the gravel.
Can we explain what exactly happened there?
Yeah, no one was near me. It was just a very cold tyre. But again, that's just sort of stuff that little things like warming up the tyres properly and the green flag lap, different things like that you just got to get used to.
Yeah.
So I made sure I did for then the meant to be race 2. Had a good start, came down Craner, went a little bit sort of like apprehensive into it, just to make sure that I didn't do it twice in one day.
Yeah.
And then as I came out the corner, seeing John Castle facing me, Wilby's car in half, and Easton sitting there, and just try to dodge it. So that was a little eye opener for sure.
For the video, I think we could probably cut to what we're going to talk about. Minis. If you haven't seen the mini challenge, if anyone's ever seen the mini challenge, and people are listening or people watch haven't seen it, watch it because it is absolutely thrilling racing. It is incredible.
It's insane. See, like I'm 35, right?
Yeah.
And I've been driving for a long time.
Yeah.
But people like yourself, Harvey, who've done it the second year, wasn't it? And your first year, your first test day was Zelos helping you with clutch control.
Yeah.
Like that, learning actually how just to drive.
Yeah.
And seeing what you guys are doing on track. And then, as trying to keep up with you guys and like your braking points, everything that you're putting into it. It's insane. And all the cars are like so similar, so exact. The odd little tiny changes, but nothing that's really going to make a difference. It's all down to the driver, really. So that racing is in that race 3 that was on ITV was spot on for an advert for the championship. It really was.
It's so good. And whenever we've watched, we used to have an RV in the BTCC paddock, and we used to go back and do our edit in there and all that sort of stuff for the videos. And we'd always have the racing on the TV. And the minis we were always distracted by because they were always going 3 abreast, 4 abreast into a corner, and it was like you just knew something was going to kick off, and there was loads of contact. You know, once someone's overtaken and they drop back, their race isn't over. Almost like you get a little bit in touring cars. Not so much. They always have a bit of chance, especially with the hybrid now. But when someone has a bit of a mistake, and that's it, Ash Sutton or Tom Ingram goes in front, that's pretty much, you're not really going to catch them unless there's a massive disparity between the cars. But it seems like you always get another chance with them.
No one really checks out unless like someone goes ahead and then say second, third, and fourth, and fifth and sixth or whatever are all battling out. You might see it happen every now and then, but generally you've got like 9 cars at the front, like so, it was, wasn't it?
Like race 3 for me, like I think I started in P9. And I got to like P5, and then like especially towards the end of the race, because everyone's battling, because you know the end. It's like you're you're battling for that last lap as such, because you know if you're at the front, you're not going to finish that lap at the front.
Yeah.
You might start a lap in pole, finish in like P9.
Yeah.
So it's like
Thruxton, that's
Yeah.
most, isn't it?
yeah.
It's like,
definitely.
like you always hear the commentators say you don't want to be leading into that last lap.
No,
You just don't.
It's just wide open. It's incredible. And also, let's talk about race 2. No, it was race 3. Was it? But that had to be restarted. Was it? The crash with John.
Yes.
Was it race 3?
It was race 3.
Race 3.
Yeah.
So John, there was a huge crash. Thankfully, everyone's okay. That's why we're able to talk about it. Obviously, we know John well.
John
Hopefully,
Tennessee.
John will be on the podcast at one point. It'll be a bit of fun. Massive crash, right? As a biggie. You know, when the race has to be cancelled because the touring cars have to go on time, and we realise that and stuff. That's a biggie. You know that. You know, all we heard was in the touring car, but they've cancelled the minis. That we're going now, and I was like, what? Why have they cancelled it? You missed it by a fraction.
Yeah. I'll check if I can show my onboard. Because we could edit that in if it's possible.
Absolutely.
But, I literally came round and I had one place to go, and thankfully Katia was next to me.
Got on the grass.
And she went on the grass. Otherwise, if she didn't, I'd have probably been pushed into the back of Easton. So, thankfully she saw that happening, and but it wasn't a nice one to see
not
at
a
all.
nice one to see. For you, mate, well, how long have you been racing?
What, in minis or just full stop?
Yeah, full stop. Well, exclude karting.
Last year was my first year.
So, first year in the mini challenge, does stuff like that phase you? Or you're like, no? Because it could happen to you guys.
Yeah, I used to, it's not as much now, but I used to be a really nervous driver.
Right.
So I used to think, it was that was if I had a crash, that was it.
You don't want to do it, yeah.
Well, not as much. I didn't want to do it. Like it'd stop me wanting to overtake as such.
Oh,
or
really?
things like
You
that.
drive differently.
Yeah. So it used to affect me quite a lot. But nowadays, like it's like it don't phase me.
It don't phase you.
If you have a ding, it's like the good thing about the trophies is you can go out if you damage a part, you can go to a scrapyard as such.
Yeah.
Get a door for £50, paint it up, make it look nice, and then it can go on the car. Whereas with like your JCWs and your touring cars, that's not the case.
No.
You have to. Yeah. They're made specially for that car.
I think every panel on my car is a different colour.
Right.
Underneath, do you know what I mean? Like it's just,
yeah.
Because obviously the Matty Hammond racing at Pembury, and the legend that he is, sort of like actually did it himself and got it back to working order literally the week before. So I tested that without a livery, looking like the in-betweeners car out there, because it was literally like different coloured panels everywhere. It's hilarious. But yeah, so no, it is one of them, like you say, you can have a door and it's like, okay. But I can see, I wasn't sure how it would affect me, obviously seeing it coming in. At the time, you just go, right, get out of the way of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't even think about it. And then you come in, and obviously John was involved in it. So I got in and I was like, right, I'll get out of the car. And I walked straight up to the med centre to see him. He typically signed himself out. He's like, no, I'm good. And sort of like off he went. But he was struggling.
Yeah.
So I was wondering how that would affect me in the days after. And to be honest, it hasn't. But it can happen on the road, right?
Yeah, of course.
I understand you're racing, you're not going to be banging doors on the road, right? But having a crash like that doesn't happen often. That was a
biggie.
That was a rare entity, really. I think that something like that could happen on the road as well. But them minis, the one thing that I'm trying to get my head around is that, like Matt said to me, and I think you have as well, you need to really just grab it by the scruff of the neck and drive it. If you don't, that's what happened in race 2 to me. In the fact that I wasn't really throwing anything at it, and it would just throw you off. Whereas actually, if you're more aggressive with it, you get them tyres warmer, the car will come to you. But I wasn't in that stage at that point.
The thing is, like, that was like your first proper race weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So last year, I think it was my second ever race in a mini, we had a big roll at Brands on cold tyres as well. So it's like it's
Cut
an easy
to video.
We'll see it again, watch the background, straight into the gravel and straight over. That's a big accident for Harvey Riby.
You had a roll, did you say?
Yes.
He rolled it around in the second of the race.
times, yeah. But yeah, so we went in, we braked going in. But obviously as a front wheel drive car and you're on cold tyres, if you lift off the throttle, your rear end starts to go. So you have to keep your power in for it to like drag the rear as such. But obviously, lack of experience, I didn't know. So lifted off and I tried to save it, you correct it, and then it snaps the other way. And then before I knew it, I was straight into the gravel and I was rolling upside down. So
Whoa.
yeah, it was but the team's great. They got me out for race 3.
Did they really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it sums up the mini, right?
That's unbelievable.
The car was totaled.
So, being a young whippersnapper that you are, you're 18 now, which makes me feel very old. Don't make you, Tommy.
Same.
And you were 17 then when you
Yes.
started.
Yeah.
What does mum and dad say when you roll it in your second race?
No, I was 16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have turned.
Yeah.
So what?
So it was before I was driving on the road.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? How can you drive?
If Max Hall, JCW's,
Yeah.
he hasn't passed his driving test and he's in JCW.
What are you talking about?
Well, he might have now.
Crazy, isn't it?
That's weird. Quick one.
Yep.
What did mum and dad say when you rolled it? Can you remember? Well, they're like, you're not going out there again, you're not doing it.
No, obviously it's a scary moment to watch because obviously they don't know. All they see is me come down the hill. The commentators over the radios, like saying, "Oh, Riby's had a roll." So it's on YouTube. You can have a look on YouTube as well. But yeah, as soon as you see a massive puff of smoke, you think, like, obviously they'll think it's game over kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird situation, but like one of the, obviously the safety features in the car are really good. So obviously you're a bit sore for a couple of days, but after that, you're sweet.
From that, you're back on it.
The worst bit is walking back from the crashed car and the gravel to the med station kind of thing.
Is it a bit of a walk of shame kind of thing?
But when I got out, because it was
Oh, to you about your walk of
because it was
shame.
such a bad crash, I got out and everyone was cheering. Maybe because it was a fabulous roll.
Yeah.
Well, it was cheering. It was spectacular.
Yeah, it was like, I felt like a gymnast.
You were cheering. They were cheering probably because you were safe. I don't know, maybe.
You never know nowadays.
You never know. We've seen a few rolls. Bobby Thompson rolling it ridiculous amount. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I think I've seen snips of it.
That was a special roll. Like Jesus, and he was not right for a long time after that. Yeah, couldn't race. Tell me about the walk of shame. Something like
Mine was a driver's shame. So literally, so I got out. They said, right, okay, get it. They tried to push me out, couldn't. So I had to get out, walk of shame over to like just wait for my car to be hoisted up. Hoisted it up, dropped it down. And they were like, can you drive it back? I was like, yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. They were like, okay, can you just... And I'm at this point, obviously, BTCC weekends, there's a hell of a lot more people there.
Yeah.
I'm standing pretty much in the crowd at the bottom of the stand, and they're like, can you just reverse it up there round and then follow one of the BMW up there, follow that back round? I was like, okay, that's fine. It is literally the little road that's the other side of the fence where all the crowd are, so I'm having to drive in between all the spectators. Yeah. Following this car back through, and I'm just like, oh god! Like, oh, you need to put your helmet back on. You need to put your, belts on and everything. I'm like, right, okay. I was like, visor down.
Oh, dear.
That was quite funny, to be fair.
It must be. I mean, look, what you guys do is, a race weekend, and you when something goes wrong, it's so frustrating. That's why I was asking, like, how you control your emotions, kind of thing. You seem like quite a chilled.
Yeah, I'm fairly chilled,
person.
but like, obviously, at the end of the day, I'm trying to think about my career.
Yeah.
So I think if I've had a bad race, that could like obviously that can go towards my career. I might not have as good of a chance in the future.
Yeah.
But like, you've got to think it's one race out of a million. Well, not a million, but
fingers crossed.
That is the point. So it is about moving on from, especially when you have 3 races in a weekend. So the mindset of going, okay, race 1 could go fabulous. You're like, right, get really up for race 2, have a stinker in race 2, and then you've got to get out of that mindset to go again about 2 hours later. So I kind of prefer it that way, and then having one race, do what I did, throw it in the gravel on lap 1, and then that's your weekend done. So I prefer to have the 3 races, but it is about getting out of that mindset each time, taking each race as a separate entity as such. But yeah. Yeah,
and getting going again.
It's like coming back, do your data, listen to a bit of music, chill out, food and drink, and then
do some filming.
Do some TikToks. Check out the TikTok and Instagram. Shout myself out.
Check out Harvey Riby. He's quite active on there. Let's talk about you then a little bit and how this has come about. First of all, being a racing driver, it's always the question that people ask. Why did you want to be a racing driver? When did you start it? Karting, you mentioned.
Yeah.
You've raced in karting. You were dropping some names over there.
Yeah. Name dropping a few people.
Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to do it.
So I think I started when I was about 8, doing go-kart, like very unprofessional. I could go to a weekend, couple £100 and I was sorted.
Okay,
so
right.
It was like cheapest of your cheap. But how it actually originally started, I think my dad went indoor go-karting once. I think it was with work, maybe, I think. And I really wanted to go. So, I went and had a go. I've never really done the indoor karting as such.
Yeah.
We just went straight outdoor and, it was great. So I went to PFI. You can do, I think they did a little outing on a Wednesday evening, I think.
Right.
So you could go around, and then you always look to around PFI. You got a bridge. It's an outdoor karting track. It's one of the biggest ones in the UK. And you always used to do the short track, but you always used to look at the big bridge and think, oh, I want to drive on that one day. And then knowing that, I don't know if I'm going to do it in the future or what have you. But obviously, once you start racing the big tracks and going through the ranks and things like that, so I went through the X30 route. So I did cadets, mini, junior, senior, and then I did KZ eventually. It's stepping from one thing to the next. It's difficult. So I think in 2021 we was 3rd in the GP, and we won. I was British Open champion.
How many races did you do in a season? Like in karting?
Yeah, so the championships are quite hectic. So obviously you've got club racing, championship races. So I think it was obviously out of the 52 weekends of the year. I think it was out maybe 48. So
nice.
It was we'd have a weekend in Spain or something like that. So it was
So
hectic.
when do you realise that? All right, I'm quite good at it. Because I should imagine, to take it into a career and try and be a racing driver. Because there's karting. We'll come on to your little girl who's karting at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So karting, everyone started karting. Tingram talks about his karting days. They all do. So, talk about their karting days. When do you think that, or when does mum or dad or someone else go, all right, you're quite good and you got some promise, let's push this further? Is it all coming from you, or what is it?
Obviously, it's a lot of it is on funding.
Yeah,
so
of
obviously
course.
Motorsport is, I think it is the most expensive sport out there, isn't it?
Probably.
So it is nearly all about funding. So you can have rich parents or big sponsorship backing. It's not always what you know, it's who you know, isn't it? So it's all on sponsorship. Obviously you've got to have the talent as well. Yeah. But if you've got to have the funding to be able to go to the next steps. So when you're in karting, you've got to you've got to figure out your career, even though you never know what your next step could be or should be. You've always got to have your dreams and look up to people.
So essentially, it still has to come from dad or mum or family member being a fan of motorsport. Yeah. Right? Is your dad a fan of motorsport? F1, all that sort of stuff?
So
or not really?
he watches F1 and touring cars, things like that. But you never like you've got your two routes, you've got your tin tops, and you've got your single seaters.
Yeah.
So like nowadays, I don't tend to watch F1 as much.
No.
Just because I know it's good to watch,
Yeah.
but it can get like around Monaco for us.
Yeah,
We've
had this conversation.
About
You
F1.
watch an F1 race and then you go and watch BTCC and you go and watch
Yeah.
what Ting did
It
last
is
week and you're like,
completely different.
that's racing.
Yeah,
Like I get, I
100%.
have total respect for all these Formula One drivers because it is ridiculous what they
Yeah,
do, like
definitely.
at the speeds they do and everything like that. But in that same category of quality of watch and quality drives,
It's quite boring.
yeah, compared to a BTCC weekend,
100%.
like and throughout the package, be it the minis, be it the actual touring cars, be it anything else that's generally on them packages, it's good racing.
100%.
And it just takes someone to watch it once or twice and go, I'm hooked.
Yeah,
Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
It's that door-to-door stuff that people
Yeah.
want to see. There's no look. I mean, the highlight reels of F1, they're not when Max or Lewis or whoever was the fastest car at the time, or Schumacher, Vettel, when they won by 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Well, that's not the highlight. Do you remember that drive when he went, it's always when they're wheel to wheel, it's always the slight crashes, it's always, you know, when Verstappen and Hamilton were right next to each other and, you know, one goes off or one's like, you know, it's all about that. And just like MotoGP, the highlight reels are always the overtakes, those laps where they're overtaking each other, for, you know, 2 or 3 times in the lap, kind of thing. That's the highlight reel, and that's still, and that unfortunately for the casual with F1, there is still a bit of that because the casual will tune in due to Drive to Survive and then being stars, and they'll go, oh,
But that's
it's
the
a bit
point.
underwhelming.
The highlight reel is say 7 minutes of an hour and a half race. BTCC is 24 laps of a
100%.
24 lap race. Like
That's
there's
it.
always something going on.
That's it.
So yeah.
Have you watched F1 in person?
No, no, I've not actually ever been.
so-
I've been to one.
When obviously when you're watching it on TV,
Yeah.
it's like oh, like one goes past, 30 seconds later it's like and then it's like the big pack.
Yeah.
When you're actually watching it in person, it's like one goes past, you sat there just waiting.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
what is
That's it.
enjoyable.
And when you hear don't get me wrong, when I was watching, I think I was watching British Grand Prix a couple of years ago where Hamilton came back and he won. There's a bit of controversy because obviously he got a penalty for taking Verstappen out or whatever. But the roar when Hamilton went into the lead was absolutely incredible. The fact that you could hear it above much it was amazing. I was like, oh, that was cool, but it was such a rare little glimpse.
And I
You know what
think
I
it's
mean?
the money as well. Like these ticket prices are going through the roof, right? You could have turned up to Donington for 15 quid last week.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's inaccessible.
Yeah,
almost.
that's the real shame about it. Because you want to take a family of 4, you're looking at it's a grand.
And that's what
People have got to save not obviously not everyone's like got the funding. So like people that want to like inspire to watch F1 and things like that, they've possibly got to save throughout the full year just to watch a race at the end of the year. Whereas like touring cars, you can, I don't know, maybe put a little bit of money aside and you can just go watch it at the weekend.
you can get there. Yeah, and it's so accessible. You know, if you look at the people at the top of the touring car, you know, paddock, they're really accessible. You can get them outside the truck if you're lucky. You can get them in the pit lane walkabout, of course you can. But you can get that bit of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can probably grab a picture with them, have a chat with them, and that sort of thing.
Well, that's us this weekend. We've got a pit lane walkabout.
You've got a pit lane walkabout, which I'm going to come to. I was trying to embarrass you. Harvey, when was this taken? Was it a couple of years ago?
That was someone else watching the F1.
No, this was just 2 years ago. I don't know if we can zoom in on this. Jim, make sure we... straight there, look at that. There he is. Where's the one, our favourite picture of Harvey?
What one's that?
That's that one. Where's our favourite one of him in the karting suit?
long time ago. Just so you all know.
It was only a year ago.
I haven't grown.
Was it on your
no
racing?
taller.
Was it on your racing page? Do you think it was on your racing
maybe.
page?
A long time
Because
ago.
you should have deleted them. I think. Whoa. That's what I think you should have, because we've got access to them now.
That's fine.
There's a picture on. There's a few pictures of you actually. There's a few pictures of you on there when you actually started in the minis. That was only like a year and a half ago, and you look like it was 10 years ago.
That picture there, I was like,
That's not when you started. That's not what
That's my first round. Because if you look at the car's all wrinkled. That was race 3.
He just rolled it.
That was race 3.
Who is that guy?
Last year.
No wonder he just rolled it. He just learned how to walk.
Rolled it being the word. Roly-poly.
Rolly Ryby.
Rolling. No, it's fair to say, you've been on a journey in the last few years, haven't you?
Obviously, I haven't grown. I've stayed the same height.
Grown a beard.
You have stayed the same height, but you've...
I was quite chunky.
I found it.
I
found my favourite one. Look, we've all got photos as kids we want to get rid of, right? Yeah, but if we just... That's the...
When was that?
That was last Christmas.
Oh dear!
Wow.
When I was at my biggest, I was maybe 5'3" and I was 74 kilos.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So obviously,
look, even the kids next to you are laughing. That's what I found. That's what I found really
I still talk to them all now.
I'm sorry.
But yeah,
you knew that's a
little bit taller. Yeah, I lost a bit of weight. I think we're down to 62 kilos now. So.
Oh, you really have.
Well,
obviously, you're a specimen now.
That's quite a little bit of weight. 6-pack and everything.
That's where all the time is, you see.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Is that an ice cream van I can hear?
It is a nice. No, we're not going back to Rolly Ryby. All right.
Good timing.
No, that's. So back to the sort of aspirations of being a racing driver. Now that you're in and around the BTCC paddock, I've chatted to you before. There's a lot of different routes that you can get there, but it is money. Yes. So do you want to be a touring car driver? Is that the eventual goal, or are you thinking actually my career doesn't have to go touring car driving route? I mean, there's lots of people, like you say, that have never been in a touring car, that have been in Carrera Cup GB, they've been minis and then gone and done something else, they've done GT, all of that sort of stuff. So what is it early days?
It is early days. Obviously, we're still in the minis nowadays, so it's like, you can go the touring car route, you can go GTs, European GT, or you can go Le Mans and do LMPs off and stuff like that. So it is early days. Obviously, we're always in discussion of the next step as such. Yeah. So, like you say, you could go JCW, or you could jump straight up and go, if you've got the budget, you can go start testing touring cars.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Obviously, the key is the budget side, but it's one of them where people look at a yearly budget. Obviously, I sort of work with Harv on this front.
Yeah, of course.
And there's one thing looking at sort of a yearly budget, but there's also going, actually, what's the 5-year look like? Right. Do you know what I mean? Right, what's the budget look like over 5 years? And I think everyone looks at it really short-sighted in a way. Yeah? So if you treat your sponsors right, if you look after your sponsors and your back end, you'd like to think if they have the ability to and they're getting what they want out of it, they will keep going and keep following you throughout, right? So you try and put a plan in place to be able to then go, right, okay, how can we build on this? That's where we ideally want to go. What do we need to do that? That's where I think people stop looking at it as such this season or even round to round, which a lot have to. But look at it as okay, what's the longer term plan? And obviously we're sitting down and trying to figure out exactly what Harv wants at the same time. So there's options. That's for sure.
There's always options out there. Not on a sponsorship point of view, sponsors don't just want a spot on the car. Obviously, they want the social media. Social media is massive nowadays. I know you've mentioned it on other podcasts and things like that.
Yeah.
But they're not just. You can look on the car and you see you driving around the paddock or on TV, and you see it's in front. I think. Is it BTCC covers over 15 million views or something
for the year.
But social media, wise, they're looking at the insights, really, aren't they?
There's endless opportunity with that as well. If you create content that's good enough, we did a TikTok at Alton before, finding something that was trending at the time. Go check it out on Harvey's.
Look at that one.
And it was 162,000 views in the space of 48 hours.
That's it.
And
we
did it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
It was
like one of the recent videos. It was like well, I don't know if you've seen it. You've probably seen it.
I've seen it.
It's like the horse, like the galloping around with the fake horse. So I picked up the wheel. I was like, all the way around. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
But like that got, I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 views.
Yeah.
But that took maybe half an hour to film.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not always.
Oh, don't! It's social media. I can tell you for hours how a frustrating video. This is going to be brilliant. And it goes to like 300. I'm like,
That's what that is the frustrating bit, isn't it? Because you must turn around and go, I love this bit of content, and then it just does nothing.
Yeah,
and you're like,
you've got to be consistent with that.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough to obviously work with both of you, right? So, and the thing I've always said, and I've probably said to you at the start of us working together, Tommy, is that you do a bit of content that you like, and then you just go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's great when the views go great, but don't even almost look at them until you got your phone blowing up a bit, and you go, oh, what's going on here? You're like, oh wow, that's gone well. Like, I'd just be like, unless you genuinely, and that's why we always focus on, and if you don't come away from that thing, just keep it nice and simple. I really like that idea. Let's do it. Film it, put it up, onto the next.
Yeah.
Because if you give it too much thought, you won't ever post anything.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, is it too safe? Like the hot tour thing, we even chatted. We were like, oh, even I remember, I've broken some rules and we've done some very weird videos back in the past and back in the day, and we still do. But you guys did exactly that. You liked an idea, you did it, all right, you changed your top and made sure you were corporate enough, but not yet. So make sure it didn't have certain sponsors on it, which was smart. Again, so you're not doing it blind, but you liked the idea, you did it, it went up, and everyone, it resonated. It went to 165k.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I think I was one of the first in the paddock to do it. I think.
there was 3 or 4.
Yeah,
on the Sunday
they did it after.
Did it?
So like we did it, and then there's a couple more that did it after.
And everyone tried to copy it.
They did it. Some of them even took it down. It was doing that terrible.
And that's the thing with socials. I mean, we've talked about social media on this podcast for quite a while, but it's such a key thing in any business, any definitely racing driver or someone trying to be a sort of public like personality or do something in the public eye. But yeah, you can't deviate from that thing, because what you'll do, you'll look at your content in a few years or a couple of years or maybe in a few months and you'll go, oh, why did I do that video? But then you got to remember, at the time, we liked the idea, we liked it, so you stick by it. You
definitely.
just continue going with it. And then if anyone, you will get, eventually, we were talking about the dinosaurs disappearing, younger people, there will eventually become a time where people, the dinosaurs of this world, be like, oh, you can't put that up, or you can't put that, oh, that's not very safe, and that's not very this, and they will be like, no, let's try and be as edgy as possible, and it will sort of, it will sort of filter
and I think
out.
that's what you see with sponsors as well, and that's the change up.
Of course.
Maron, for example.
Yeah.
I want to do stuff that's a bit different.
Absolutely.
And I think if you have sponsors that are like that, it becomes a lot easier to be able to actually work with them and that are a bit open-minded, going, right, we can come down, we can film this content, we could do something a bit fun here.
Yeah.
It's not just about sort of your product or your service. Let's actually sort of like just bring you to the forefront of other people, like get your name out there, your brand. And I think that's a sort of angle that we need to take a little bit more, which we're, again, working on moving forward.
Yeah. And I think it's hard because, I mean, how much do you want to know? Oh, I'll let you have a sip of water.
It's getting a bit hot in here, is it, me?
It's just you, mate. Ever since we started showing Harvey Riby, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
It's difficult because obviously you're 18 now. There's a lot of this I see around the paddock where people kind of still want to look cool.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit eager to put themselves out there, but don't want to look silly in an interview. They don't want to look silly in doing content themselves. And I guarantee there's people that have done content and looked at it and go, no, don't put it out. Because they're too worried or too scared. I mean, you don't seem to be like that at the moment.
No.
There's
So
more
you've got
content
to
that's
be-
not, isn't there?
Yeah, so... Oh, I think I've swallowed a bug.
Are you all right then, mate? So we'll pause for pause the podcast so Harvey's having a little drink.
So like you've got to like that embarrassing video we did. I had to run through like a group of teenagers. And they was all just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" But the thing is, we didn't. I think we only put a tiny bit of that up.
Yeah.
So like, I ran through all that, made a massive fuss in the middle of like Garage 39 at Donington, and the tiniest bit went up. But it is what it is. It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be too professional at the end of the day. So
you need like outtake reels as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like actually put them together too. Just because it shows you as a person. Like,
you've got to be a character at the end of the day.
And it can't come across unnatural. Like I'd never grab someone. Like I'd never work with someone and want to be like, oh, be a bit more like that person, or be it, because it just comes across completely unnatural. Yeah. So that's the good thing about the way we've always worked. If we work with a driver or a football team or whatever, you've got to adjust it so like we'll do what you think's funny, and that's why you actually need to take the time to get to know each other. Yeah. And this is the thing, like when me and Tommy first started speaking, you know, we were like, oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And then we were like, and he was like, yeah, okay, I know, but maybe we can do something different. Yeah. So then after a little while, we had a little think, we had some chats. I was like, oh, I think, you know, really like these ideas. So we're going in a direction that we want to go, but it's a collaborative process. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be like, if you go up to, you know, you can grab your phone and do anything you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's fine.
You can order some mics off Amazon. They're not sponsored, by the way. Well, you can.
You can do what you want when you want to do it. Yeah. And you're in control of it. But then also, if you've got a team of people that are working with you, they'll only sort of do stuff that's going to suit your personality. Yeah. I mean, if you're ever looking at a video and go, no, I don't really like that, do it. That's really cringy for me. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, we've had a few, we've been lucky enough to work with Tingram for a little while. Trust me, some of our ideas do not get through. We're like, what about this one? And he's like, no, we can't do that. And it's just not him. Yeah. But, as you can see, the feedback on his channel is because he shows his personality. There's certain people on the grid, like if Ash started doing that, it wouldn't come across as...
It's not natural, is it?
It wouldn't come as... And that's him. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, and that's absolutely perfect.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And he goes and wins, you know, his championships and does what he does.
It's not the wrong way. There's no right or wrong.
You've got to be you at the end of the day, haven't you? You can't act like someone else.
And that's why I guess Lando Norris is so popular on socials. You know what I mean?
Well, Danny Rick kind of started that in
he did.
paddock, didn't he? Because Danny Rick was very much just like, this is me, like I'm having a laugh through the paddock and all this. And then suddenly, when younger drivers started coming in, they're kind of the same, like Lando. But then you get the other side of it, where Oscar Piastri is very much not quite like that. And actually, sometimes he can come across like he's a bit uncomfortable in what he's doing. Yeah. Obviously, he's sort of really young and new to it. Yeah, it might just take a bit of time. Yeah. But Lando, it's just him. Like Danny Rick, there's a few different characters in the grid, aren't there? But I think you can't force it upon somebody. Just be you. And at the same time, that's actually when your sponsors will stay with you and your partners. And going back to what we were saying, will stay with you because they like you for you. It's not even always about the results.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to. That was going to be my next question, more for you. Yeah. Because you're on the sponsor side of it. Yeah. As well. You certain sponsors are going to look for different things. You know, we know that. You know, big companies are going to be all about the stats and all about the thing and all about the money. Yeah, I get that. And then it's, you know, it's got to make financial sense for you as well. Of course. You're not just going to chuck money at anyone you like. Yeah. But that's more key for you, I imagine. That relationship side of things is important.
100%. It's got to be. It has to be a benefit. You have to do it for a benefit of the reason you're doing it. So it's Mayor on Freight. Yeah. So it's got to benefit Mayor on.
Of course.
So the new Tucker Juniors. Yeah. All right. So obviously we haven't had this conversation. This has all come to light in the last sort of month or so. Yeah. You know, that's for 14, 17-year-olds. Yeah. Now, Mayor can literally move anything anywhere. Yeah. Right. And we need to speak to people with companies who ship stuff. Yeah. Now, as well as getting the branding out there, as well as supporting a really cool championship that I think will really take off and be good for the Toka package as well, the people that are within that paddock are generally going to be decision makers.
Of course.
They're the people that we, Jordan, whoever working on sales or anything, want to speak to. So it makes sense to invest to be able to have the ability to speak to them straight away, as well as watching some really cool cars go around the track with our branding on and being synonymous with it. So it's really exciting on multiple factors and multiple avenues and reasons why. So yes, you go into it obviously 100% needing it to be financially make sense to why you're doing it.
Yeah.
At the same time, if for example you don't feel like you've got 100% out of it, that's because you haven't looked outside the box of it. It is what you create outside of it. It is what you create. It's not just about the sticker on the car, as Harv said, it used to be. Now with social media, you can do so much with it, and it's what you actually maximise from it, because it's only going to be what you put into it of what you get out of it at the end of the day. Anyone can go and hand over 50 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
It's what you actually do with that content you've been given or provided or whatever to actually make that make sense. And it's really tough to actually quantify the numbers from it. The Southampton thing, for example, put us in a whole new light down in this area because we moved down here. I wouldn't say that, we didn't gain all the customers in the world because of it. Actually, we gained a lot of suppliers from it.
Yeah.
So we were buying cheaper, and through that, winning more business. And so there's multiple ways of looking at it. So it's very hard to quantify what business did you win from it, or what, do you know what I mean? What money did you make from it?
Yeah.
And if you go in with that mindset, I think it opens your eyes up to what's actually available on the sponsorship front and marketing side of things in a business, any business.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, we sell empty space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
exactly right.
what's the best way of creating content of selling empty space? It's really tough to do. I haven't got a product to show. I really like Draper's new social media sort of content they've started creating and different things like that. But they've got really cool products they can show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Really cool products.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
So it's all about us, the staff, everybody within it, and the Mehron brand.
You've almost got to, like you say, there are different ways you can do it, and that's exactly what you've tried to do, especially in the last year. And then, but that Southampton thing, when we were at the NEC, someone was chatting to us. They're like, "Oh, that's that map. They always pronounce it wrong."
Oh, of course,
that's that Marion, or whatever it is. I was like, "Yeah, Mehron." He's like, "Yeah, they're on Southampton, aren't they?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, and then he was chatting to his mate. He said, "Yeah, I hadn't heard, but they're slap bang on their their sleeve." So yeah, I need to go chat to him later. I was like, "You better get into him before he has another beer." But the good, it was one of those examples. I walked away with Charlie, who was with us. I was like, "That's just one of those little examples that it's been put out there, and then they've seen it, and they're like, who are they?" And then that happens in the paddock all the time. Obviously, racing drivers are like hawks as well. Yeah. So when they see a new sponsor, they're like, "Oh, who's that? Can I have them?" Sort of thing. So it's
recently. Well, we've had a driver, Luca, on the grid. He had a new livery for the last round, new sponsor, and everyone loved it, didn't they?
Yeah, it looked really cool.
It got so much attention.
A fair shout for him. He's got 4 rounds left at the time, and he's managed to bring in a massive sponsor. And that's what it's about, right? It could be a family friend, it could be whoever. It doesn't matter what or how.
No.
It's still a company putting money into you, right?
Yeah.
So, and Luke is a good lad. So what he'll do is he'll make sure that they get the content they want. They'll get what they want back from it as much as he can, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think when you've got, like you say, there's your letting everyone know what you do from a day to day, but then there's the Toka Junior Championship. Then there was the Southampton stuff. Then there was Tom Ingram, Ronan, Accelerate. There was Harvey, and everything sort of comes together, and you put in stuff. There's the the partnership video he did with WSC. You know, there's loads of these little relationships and these little partnerships.
That's exactly it.
That you make the brand just appear in other people's timelines. Without spending, organically. You know what I mean? Obviously, you invest in it. Obviously, you invest in people, you invest in us, and all that sort of stuff. But then you've got the partnerships in order to make it go, and you've got to have the people that are ready to go. Right, I've just invested in the Soca Junior Championship. There it is, and we're like, right, okay, let's think what we can do for Meron to make sure that Meron Freight UK is at the front of that Soca Junior Championship, and that's our job. So it all comes full circle,
100%.
and that kind of works.
And that's when you got, managing Harv now. Actually, these racing drivers, the likes of Luca, Harvey, Gabe, all these young drivers who are coming in, say 17, 18. No, Luke's a bit older. But you're racing drivers.
Yeah.
You're not salesmen.
Yeah.
I'm a salesman trying to be a racing driver.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the point. So that's my bread and butter. That's what I enjoy doing.
Of course, yeah.
So it's a whole new thing. So we had a conversation with Harvey's dad and said, okay, well, Tom, if you want to sort of take him on as such, and then I'll do the sales side and just let Harv concentrate on the driving.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes you can see when budget's a factor.
Yeah.
No names or anything, but when budget's a factor to people, it goes. You see it on track.
Yeah, of course.
And that's throughout any and every series.
Yeah,
definitely.
You
see it.
And I want to talk about it from your point of view then, because we've seen in the touring cars, especially over the last 5 years that I've been involved, and 2 years that you've been around the paddock, and Tommy yourself, we've seen some people secure their drive every single year. Obviously, we know that there's some personal wealth behind certain people. There's fortunate enough, but like I say, but then there's some people that have really secured that sponsorship, worked hard, and make sure that that's their full-time job. That's what everyone wants to do: be a full-time racing driver and not have to work. Right?
Definitely.
That's the dream. And then we've seen, obviously, people as well that struggle for budget. There's no shame in that. That's all.
It's a hard thing.
It's the hardest thing in the world.
It's a hard thing. So struggle for budget, but then we've also seen those people think, if I can just get the results on track, the budget will come flying in, and that's not always the case.
No, it's like you look at it nowadays, and say if I was in touring cars or GTs, it's like, how does an 18 to 25-year-old find £500,000 to £1 million?
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to let someone,
of course,
give you money.
Yeah.
It's like it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
The difference between 5th and a 15th.
Yeah.
On a race weekend in results wise, I don't think makes a difference to your sponsors.
No.
I really don't.
No.
When you win the championship, like Ting, for example, and all that, and Meron was across the banner when he's standing on top of the car, like one of my favourite picture that we've got, for example, from that stuff. You can then, you utilise, you really push, and you really get that brand out there. At the same time, I don't think that, 5th to, where I was, sort of 17th, 18th, I don't think there's a lot of difference. As long as you maximise the content that's come out of it for them, then you're golden.
Sorry, production have just dropped a box of grapes.
Punnet of grapes.
So,
who was eating the grapes last?
I walked past and the wind blew.
What's a gust of wind from your walking past? Yeah. How fast did you move?
What a flash.
Flash Gordon over there. Because no grapes left, either.
Can I be really annoying?
Do you want to go to the toilet?
No, I need something to jump off.
Go on then.
Sweating buckets.
Go on then, give the...
Good for the camera.
Give the people what they want. Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Oh. That's a tan from Free Holidays, that is.
Whoa. Oh, and I've spilled me water.
Oh, for God's sake. We've not had this with anyone else on the podcast.
Well, I'm only
no one else just like sweating up and spilling stuff.
It is warm, I'll give you that.
It is warm.
We need a fan. I've got loads of fans.
On that, how many fans you got?
One in my bedroom.
No, come on. How many followers?
Not
you got?
a lot, actually.
No, come on.
Not a
Don't
lot.
say this because this is bad on us.
Has he told you about the time we were walking through Donny Paddock and I'm in my race suit, he's not, and someone's come up to me and asked for my autograph and not him?
But this is the thing, you have to walk about in your suit.
Yeah.
So if you look at a touring car driver, most of them are in the suits.
You just look like a fan.
It was so
alright.
funny.
I look like a bottle boy.
You know what? I signed something last week. So that,
here we
right,
go.
you were there. You were there. He did, and he didn't. I won't mistake him for like Corinne Chandok or anything. Oh. I've done it again.
Oh dear.
I've done it again. Can we keep that in? We'll probably be all right. It's in the middle. Corinne Chandok.
We'll get him on.
We get on. Karoon, come
Tag him in.
There's
Karoon,
not,
fancy
there's not
it?
many of us in the paddock. There's not. I've got to stop. Sorry, because it's going to be difficult for you. There's no. What's wrong with the sport?
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Oh, God.
I want to say so much more. I'm going to stop. Right.
Oh, a lot of editing.
I'm looking at your Insta.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? Check it out.
Yeah, it does. Hey, it's all right.
Jimmy!
Jimmy.
Jimbo.
What do you think of Jimmy at Fortis?
Yeah, he's alright. No,
Yeah.
he does a cracking job, to be fair.
Yeah, he
he's
does
really
all right, doesn't he?
Shouting out Fortis there. Was
Shouting out Fortis, you know the score. Talking about going back to budget, we were talking about results. So, look, if you're on the podium each week, it should help you get sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the correlation necessarily. I'm really not. I'm not seeing it. I don't know. Like, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, there's people in the paddock in the touring cars, that do a great job, and they're rare every single year. I think of some names that do a great job with their sponsors. A lot of people. I don't want to mention too many names because I don't know everyone. So they'll be like, "Oh, you mentioned that person." But Aaron Taylor Smith, for example, is a great example. Yeah. Was at Team Hard for a little while. I know he's been on touring cars back in the day, but from my experience in the last 5 years, I've seen him at Team Hard for a couple of years, I've seen him at Powernuts a couple of years, obviously he's doing really well this year. But I know how hard they work. We've worked with them for a little bit. They really get on with them. But in terms of looking after their sponsors, you see him marching around on the Fridays, doing all his stuff in hospitality, and then on the Saturday they're entertaining, they're looking after, doing their appearances. Obviously, he pays attention to social media as well. He employs another social media company, Momentum. We love you, Momentum. So that's an example that a couple of years ago when he wasn't at the sharp end, a lot of people would be like, well, he seems to be doing it. But that's an example of the people that have been on the podium that aren't actually on the grid anymore. So tell me from a sponsor's point of view how that makes sense for you, but it must do.
Yeah. So So his. Well, I'm trying to think of someone to use. You could even use Ting.
Yeah.
To be honest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's been up there for a long time, but okay, so it still comes back to when you're in the top 3, you're then interviewed more. So people get to see you. People get to see your personality. From an outsider looking in, from a business point of view, you're seeing that person because they're in the top 3. You wouldn't go, I want to sponsor him because you came 3rd, 2nd or 1st. I want to sponsor you because actually, because of your interview, you seem really nice.
Right, okay.
Reach out, have a chat. Interview the people that are coming 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, more as much as you do,
and they'll get
the same thing if they're relatable. I don't think it's about where they finished. I think it's about who they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if that sort of like matches my brand, that's sort of somebody that I think could actually do the type of content that I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
They're the people you reach out to. Dan Lloyd's a great one for it. I've worked with Dan a bit over the years. He's fantastic at what he does for his sponsors. And he's been really good at different things, and he's always up for a bit of a laugh and a giggle and creating content. Multiple multiple drivers. Harv's another one, right? And me and Harv can go and create loads of different content and a bit of a laugh and have fun doing it. It can be racing related, it can be Mehron related, it can be HRS related, it can be multiple different companies that we're sort of working with or whatever. And that's the people that you want to support and back.
Right.
I don't think it's about your results base.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you have to then probably have quite a lot of hats on being 18, because I remember I was 18, I just wanted to, right, where are we going next week, boys? What pub we going to? What club we going to? It's a different world for you. You've got to think, okay, because you work as well. We'll come on to that as well.
I've seen him drink as well, so it wouldn't be going what pub.
It wouldn't be going what pub. No. So you're working. You've obviously got to keep yourself in good nick to actually do the racing part of it. Definitely. But then you've also got to be a potential brand ambassador. You've got to be able to talk fairly well. You've got to be able to sell yourself a little bit and hopefully work with the people that are going to sell for you. So tell me how that works, because as an 18-year-old, loads of people are still playing computer games and wanting to go pub.
Because obviously, like when I was younger, I missed out on parties and things like that. I was just, like hanging out with loads of friends and things like that. But like I'm thinking about my career at the end of the day. My life is completely different to theirs.
Yeah.
Like you could have the same things going on at school, at home. Yeah. But like away from
free time,
the normal life as such, it's so much different.
Yeah.
But yeah, weighing up your job, your racing, it's just non-stop. So like people can say, oh yeah, racing, you're just going to have a bit of fun. Yes, it's fun, but that is my job.
Yeah.
So like, I'll work all in the week, and then we'll train either in the morning or evening and things like that, and then you're going away at racing, and it's working again.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying earlier, like with sponsorship and filming and media, that's why it's good to bring like Fortis in and Mayor on, just to just to help out.
It with you. So your day today, what's your day today?
So I work for my dad.
Oh, plug. Where's
Humber
straight
Services,
down the camera?
Humber Services, yeah. It's 2-man home delivery. So it's mainly furniture.
Yeah.
Get in touch if you need anything.
So I remember people. We used to work with Dan Kirby. He was trying to be a racing driver at one point. Janettas, and he used to do this stuff. And sometimes I used to catch him after a Janetta weekend, or like we was having a bit of breakfast after his Saturday. He was like, oh, yeah, my head weren't really in it yesterday. I think I had a bit of a nightmare week, to be honest, at work, and I must have let that affect me.
Yeah.
How hard is that? Because there are certain people that won't have that maybe are actually pretty comfortable. So have to work that much or whatever and rock up.
Compartmentalise it.
Yeah, rock up. So how are you with leaving your Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday, as it may be on a weekend, and going off racing?
It is hard to adapt to your different things, but like I'm in a very lucky situation that I work for my dad.
Yeah.
I've got my own company, HRS. So yeah, you are jam packed, but you can weigh it up and things like that. So it's not too bad.
What's the most annoying thing about being a racing driver? What annoys you at the weekend? Other than
teammates.
Other than walking along and getting ignored and Tommy getting an autograph.
Yeah.
So fun.
What's the most annoying thing?
It's probably knowing, like, you can go out and do a race and come P1, but there's always, like, I know you're not meant to look at it, but there's always negative sides of it. So you'll be like, oh, you should have done that better, you should have done that better. Like, it's hard to get out of your head not to look at the negatives as well. Because you go through your data after your race, and like you're trying to improve on your worst points. So like that's hard to. It feels like it puts you down almost.
Right.
So it's trying to get in the right frame of mind that you have just done a good job.
Yeah.
You've just got to improve on the worst bits as such.
Yeah.
So it's hard to.
I think that's a racing driver sort of mentality as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fact of you come P1, but you still want to keep improving, because you're never going to be perfect. You very rarely. I don't know anyone, even Max Verstappen, Schumacher, would never turn around and go, "That was a perfect race," as in every corner,
Yeah, of course.
start, whatever it was, pit stops, whatever, saying that is a perfect race. There's always something you come in and go, okay. But it is just about going, actually enjoy the good times as well.
Yeah.
You've got to enjoy when you have a good race and go, actually get home on a Sunday night, Monday morning, whatever it is, and go, right, I'll take the positive out of that. Yes, I could have done that better, but I'll deal with that next time.
So, I remember talking to you after Pembury, and I spoke to you obviously after Donington. But do you enjoy it no matter what? Did you enjoy Pembury?
Yes, I did enjoy it. I did.
Because you came out like Pembury was a bit rubbish.
Obviously, I enjoy racing, but it's less of a hobby now. Like I say, it's more of a job.
Of course.
So you can have a bad day at work. You can go home and you're like, today's been horrendous. You still like your job, or love your job as such, but you're like. You have negatives.
That's a good shout.
You've got to look at it like it was 20 minutes, but that's.
You'd rather be doing nothing else.
Yeah,
right. I'm guessing that's the reason you do it.
Yeah,
right?
it's just. Yeah, I do it because I love it. Not.
There's no other reason why you go off to Pembury for the weekend.
I don't know because I'm forced to or anything like that. I do love it, but like there's negatives of every job, really, isn't there?
So like Donington must have been fun for you. Finally, because of everything that's come before, the race license, apart from the gravel bit, but that's part of it. But this is what I'm trying to sort of eke out of you, because you kind of like, sometimes, you have rubbish days at work, absolutely, but you go in the next day. But what I am going to say, play devil's advocate, I have to go to work. Because I've got kids and I've got bills to pay.
Don't have to be out on track.
Yeah, you don't have to be out on track. We can all do something else with our weekends, like go to the pub. But you choose not. So is that what I'm saying? Is that enjoyment still there?
Yeah.
I think we've obviously got
separate,
not views on it, but obviously I go into obviously very business minded in a way. But at the same time, when them lights go out, you're definitely not thinking about Mayor on.
No, of course. Of course.
But I've always been someone who played football, cricket, whatever it was, and that would be my escape from work, for example. I'd just get, cricket was a bit longer, but football 90 minutes to that's what I'm thinking about, that's what I'm doing. This is 25 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is, of just going, of an adrenaline rush. But the weird part, actually, for me, the one thing that came out when I finished race one, obviously I'd done all the testing, I'd done quali and everything like that. Even in quali, you're like, okay, right, lap or two just to get the tyres in, feel good, and then just really start pushing. Obviously, in a race situation, it's just like 0 to 100. Like you're just straight on it from that get-go. And it did take me in that first race 3 or 4 laps to realise that I was in that situation. Do you know what I mean? Like I was kind of like an out-of-body experience. I'm like, no, you've got to be like from the minute them lights go, or even before, really, green flag lap, just going nuts at them tyres to get some heat into it. And that mindset is something that isn't normal, of just going 0 to 100 adrenaline.
It's, I think, as well, getting out, and I should have mentioned, you got like-minded people chatting about it. I get the appeal, and I can see, even though if you've had a sketchy weekend, it's what you love, so you gotta keep going.
The main part of it is obviously racing.
Yeah.
But if you work out, like obviously if we have a 20-minute race, if you add up all the race over a couple of years, it's maybe 10, 14 hours. It's like a normal day's work. But that's like years of racing. Yeah. It's hard to. Yeah, like you say, you can go to work, do a 14-hour, 15-hour shift, whatever, and you go home and you're relaxed. But your career in motorsport is so spread out, but it goes by so fast. It's like, I remember last season. It feels like it was this season.
You've got to enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. What would you do if you? Where are we, brother?
Around 11 minutes.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
We've gone on for a long time. Quick one. What would you want to do if you being a racing driver is not an option?
Right, one thing I do love doing is cleaning. I know it's weird, but
I'll be honest, I didn't see us going in that direction.
Cleaning?
Yeah, so I'd love like detailed cars, something like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've got a cash guy down there if you want to go clean it, mate. What do you think?
Alright.
Oh.
Don't want it that much.
I've got like Ferraris and stuff like that. Isn't it?
Well, no, I love doing all
cars.
sorts, like my car, my van, things like that. I love.
You
doing.
love cleaning?
Yeah.
You are
You're an
really, really anal about
You're
that.
Yeah. So like,
18-year-old who loves cleaning.
I could be at home and like I could go to the gym. Some of my mates might be at the pub and I'll just like cleaning the bathroom or the kitchen.
But your mum loves you.
Tell you what,
So it's.
I thought you were cool.
That is well cool.
We're going to snip this up into Harvey loves cleaning.
Yeah. So
Who are you
it's.
showing? So any
It's
any
the
cleaning sponsors out there?
Oh, that's what we want now.
Any
Right?
cleaning sponsors? Give us a shout.
He'll
it's-
come round.
it's
What's your
the-
favourite? What's your favourite product? Sillet Bang?
My own product.
Oh, go on.
Quick plug.
HRS website coming soon. Stay posted. How good was
keep
that?
posted.
Keep posted.
Stay posted.
He's terrible.
Did I say it right?
No,
I'll go with it.
don't know about it.
It'll be on his Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, we got to improve on the old use of English. Where'd you go to school? Like up north somewhere?
Right.
Like, Wotherham Way.
Right. So this is a situation. I wasn't very good in school.
Really?
No, I was all
Were you
right.
naughty?
Why is this a
No, I wasn't-
situation?
Hold on. Yeah, by the looks of it, you spent time in the canteen. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a bit of canteen.
We just put a picture of you and me next to each other when we were the same age.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we've
you-
not had-
You was
See,
a
I
big lad as well.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of you in a cricket top the other day,
Right.
next to you in front of a mirror, literally
yeah.
last week. I was like, whoa,
Big
that
one in
looks
the
like
mirror.
a different person.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see
Glad.
Tommy as a kid as well.
Oh, we'll put them two together.
We'll put them two
Definitely.
together. Yeah. So other than the canteen, what did you used to do?
My subjects in school:
Yeah.
engineering, design, and then all the boring bits like maths, English.
Oh,
and
really?
stuff.
Were you no good?
Engineering, design, like
You're
stuff I enjoyed doing, I was really good.
Just no good at the
But
rest.
all the others, like, because I'm dyslexic.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, no excuse.
No.
It's just.
Well, you've used
it's-
it.
I have. it's just a title at the end of the day, isn't it? But, yeah, I did.
School
I,
academically didn't really fancy
I did
it.
struggle a lot with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's onwards.
You weren't like sent out of class, were you? A little
No,
toe
I
rag.
wasn't. I
You
wasn't.
weren't naughty.
I wasn't that naughty.
No, that naughty.
No, I wasn't too bad.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, we should wrap it up. I guess we spoke for a long time there. It didn't feel like that.
No,
Didn't. It was
It
good.
didn't at all.
Gone like
It was
that.
good. How's the apple pie on a scale of 1 to 10?
Honestly.
Be honest. Come on.
7.8.
Very specific.
I've never had that.
It was
like
It was.
you got a food review on
7.8,
TikTok.
not 7.9. No, it's just 7.8.
Don't quite get that. But yeah, it was alright.
Hot and a bit of custard. How would that be?
Yeah, or ice cream.
You're going to tell me you don't like custard, aren't you?
I like custard, but
What?
I feel like it just ruin it because I'm more of a cold person. I like cold food.
Put ice cream on it.
Yes.
Ice cream.
I'm an ice
So
cream
apple
man.
pie. Yeah?
Yeah.
Over custard?
Yeah.
Ice cream.
What are they on about, though?
Ice cream. You scream. We all scream.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Derwin. With Derwin, if you cut Derwin, custard comes out.
We're cut that.
Keep picture Derwin.
You little snicker.
We've got so many titles of this we could use.
Yeah, there's so many. By the way, have you ever tried a pork pie?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
No,
you liar.
I have. I have.
I'm having
So
a
can you try the
one of
one with pickle?
Oh no, I don't want that.
No, go on, have a bite.
I don't want a pickle.
You've got to have a bite. You've got to. You've got to try new things. See,
What's
Jim?
in that one?
This is what it's about.
That's pickle.
Yeah. Just have a bite.
It's meat with pickle.
Yeah, it's meat. It's not just got pickle in it. It's got pork in it. What do you think?
It's alright.
Everything's just it's like you. Everything's
It's all
all
right.
right. What would you give that out of 10?
7.9.
6.3?
No.
It's quite dry, yeah. Come on.
6.6.
6.6. So you wouldn't go back for another one? Oh, you got to finish
If
that
I'm
one.
hungry,
You thought more about that than what gear you were going to go past Sam Cornell in.
Yeah. Also, a quick one. I want to out Harvey Riby for. Harvey, whenever there are spare touring car lunches, Harvey eats them.
all right.
In the truck, when the mechanics are looking for their lunch, if there's one missing, and you're like, I've not had my lunch yet, who's eating it? It's him.
Yeah, but if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I'm priority then.
Yeah, but we do leave it a bit, don't we? Because I usually join in.
We've got to wait till they're at least cold.
Yeah, because then they're spare.
Which they're all fairly cold by the time they get there anyway.
I'm like, yeah, but by my logic, is there's always about 5 spare.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why don't we just grab a hot one next time?
That is true.
It made more sense. Enjoy it.
Or if we go straight to hospitality, yeah, everyone, get yourself in hospitality.
No, I don't think it's an advert. I think you can just say, go get some food.
Go get some food.
Hospitality. I don't think Laura will be happy.
It's already warm. It's warm if we just go straight there.
I don't think we can just grab. I think we've got to keep eating it cold because I'm worried that because someone ate. We're not going to mention names, but someone ate a VIP's lunch once at the touring cars. There was a very important sponsor of. You can probably guess who it is. There's a certain sponsor that are there every single weekend, and they have lunch delivered to the truck, and they have certain.
Oh no!
There's a certain specification of food.
What did you just say?
She was saving it for later, and I went, "No, that looks like it's spare." And he ate it. She came in, going, "Someone's eating gluten free."
Really dry, just to let you know.
Oh dear.
No gluten.
It was very funny. Right, okay.
We'll cut that bit.
That concludes.
Wrap it up.
We're going to go eat some pies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Is that what you do? Yeah. We're going to go eat some pies. Thank you for listening or watching the Fingers in Pies podcast with Mayor on Freight UK. Lots more to come. We have got a load of people to do in the next few weeks.
Yep.
Thank you very much for joining us, Harvey.
All right. Thank
Cheers,
you very
Harv.
much for having me.
Thank you very much,
Cheers, Rob.
Tommy, as usual.
I'll see
and
you
I'll
next
see
time.
you on the next one. There we go.